What's up, guys? How you guys doing? I'm chilling right now. So today's video, I wanted to talk about the U.S. Educational system and the subjects that are often being taught in school, and how there are some other subjects that are quite lacking that I believe are essential for kids growing up to be prepared for the real world. I haven't been in high school for years. I don't want to date myself. I don't really care though, but it's probably been close to 20 years at the time of this video since I last went to school. So that being said, the majority of the subjects that are given in U.S. Educational system, you have your standard math, science, economics, foreign language, art, PE, all that jazz, etc., etc. But a few subjects that they don't really embark on in high school, which I believe they should at least sprinkle a little bit and touch upon towards their students, is basic stuff for a real world survival, such as balancing your checkbook, learning what else about APR, annual percentage rates on credit cards, how interest works, things you need to know about when you purchase your first home. Some people might say that's too early, but I don't believe that, unless you're like 4 or 5 years old. I think you could start at a young age, and these are things that are often lacking, that the educational system does not provide to the average American kid. Now, some of you guys and gals might already be saying, well, that's not up to the educational system. That is up to common sense and your parents. Well, my counter to that is, consider yourself lucky, and it's an added bonus if you have educated parents who teach you and don't rely specifically on the school system to educate you. The more highly educated parents that you have, the more likely they're going to put you in more extracurricular activities, musical instruments. Make sure you're more well-rounded, well-read, and probably the more educated you are, you're going to be teaching your children how to do these things that I'm talking about that should be provided in the educational system, such as balancing your checkbook and all the other stuff that I mentioned. Unfortunately, not everyone comes from the same uh, type of upbringing. Some people come from poverty, where they don't even have two parents, a father and a mother. You might be a single parent mom who had a kid very, very young in a very uh, poverty stricken area, and they got to work two double shifts just to put food on the table. Therefore, they're taking away from educating their kids on these types of subject matters. So yeah, I totally believe that this definitely should happen. So uh, I don't know if that's ever going to change, because it's just, there's certain laws that you have to teach certain curriculums. But I definitely would like that. I would love to hear you guys and gals' opinion, because the other thing I want to say is, I remember when I went to school in college, there were credit card companies that were on our campus, and they would try to sign you up for a credit card. And they're basically doing that because they know, they're kind of like vultures, these credit card companies. I already know. I use a credit card, but I pay it off in full. And this is a prime example. So if you're an impressionable kid and you sign up for these credit cards, they know that these college students, for the most part, they don't have that much money. So why are the credit card companies targeting these college students? Well, they know that the college students, because they don't have that much money, they're probably going to be delinquent on their payments, and or just put down the bare minimum payment. So for instance, if their balance for a month ends up being $100, and they don't have $100, but the minimum payment is $7, a person who knows nothing about paying interest on a card, what are they gonna do? They're gonna be like, oh wow, I bought all this stuff and I only have to pay $7 right now, but there's a little bit of interest. No problem. Next month hits, they spend another 200. The minimum payment is $9. What do you think's happening? You're getting pretty much effed in the butt, if you catch what I'm saying, at 17 to 20 something percent APR, whatever they call it, the interest annual percentage rate, and you end up having to pay more. So these are things that you want to watch out for, and the educational system just does not provide. And the other thing I wanted to point out is, this is just based on my experience, maybe at better schools and private schools, but I went to a public school, and right now, currently, the school is much, much better, but California, they usually have a ranking from 1 to 10. Anything from an 8 on up is usually really, really strong. I'm not sure what it was when I was in school, but I remember talking to the high school counselors, and they would look at my transcript, and they would just look at it real quick and go, "Oh, you're good for graduation. You're on target. Next." And you had this feeling that that's all they were focused on, is graduating high school. And I had to stop them dead in the tracks and interrupt the counselor and say, "Hey, yeah, I know I'm on target to graduate high school. I'm not talking about that. I have bigger aspirations. I want to go to college. What other classes do I need to take? What suggestions and or advice do you have?" So this short-sighted mentality is often perpetuated by the um, educational system, the types of classes, and and basically the culture of the educational system. So that's my 2 cents for this video. So let me know you guys and gals' experience with high school, and if you agree or disagree with what I have to say. And last, if you are in high school currently and you stumble upon this video, I recommend always trying to self-educate yourself if you're not getting what you need. There are public libraries everywhere across America, and also something called the internet. So a lot of good information that wasn't at your disposal years ago. Back in the 80s, 90s, you have to go to the library, find a book, look it up in the encyclopedia. But now there's a lot of information, so there should be no excuse not to educate yourself and be well equipped for the future. That's my time. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.